Good evening and welcome to PTV Live. Hello, everyone. I'm Arnie.
I'm Doug. We're in the bunker of a newsroom. That's what he's sounding like.
I am?
Yes, you sound to TV announcer like you're watching The Wheel of Fortune. So,
you're watching PTV. Okay,
yeah,
everyone.
So we have Mr. Giggles. Okay, there we are.
There we
they are.
We have Ben with us, of course. And we also have D&G on with us tonight.
Because we can't play fair.
Look at that, Derek.
He's flipping out because he thought that we weren't supposed to be heard yet. And he's like, put us on mute. And then I took it off mute. And then you guys put us on. We're like, hello, we're already here.
Hey, look at that. Everyone's already joining us. Hello, Mike Wheeler, Griswold Family Vacay, Pam's Fam, Dances with Goofy, Michelle the Quilter. Everyone,
Donna.
Thank you so much for being here. Donna, Tim Pruitt, Tina. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. We're going to have some fun tonight. It is going to be an episode of 21 Questions.
It's going to be excellent.
Okay, the concept of 21 questions is I come up with 7 questions, so does Doug, so does Ben. And all of us, Dascal, you're watching Lightning Strike PTV. We all answer each other's questions. The questions are going to be asked by our moderators. Tonight, the moderators are Derek and Gregory of D&G Explorers. Any of you here in the chat today, if you have not yet subscribed to D&G Explorers, please go do that. Hopefully one of my moderators can drop the link to their channel there in the chat. That would be wonderful, everyone.
I gave him permission to do that this morning.
Wow.
Very kind, very kind. Also, one other thing that I'd like to encourage you here in our audience, the questions all have to do with 70 years of TV. Now, there obviously have been more than 70 years, but we're focusing on the years between 1950 and 2019. So there aren't many years outside that window of television, but we're going to focus on one question each from the 50s and then the 60s and so on and so forth and what have you. So with those questions in mind, if you find that you have a response to any of the questions, feel free to drop your answer in the chat. We'd love to see what you have to say about each of the answers as well. Thank you so much. Derek and Gregory, how are you doing?
We
are great.
Amazing. We just
great and amazing.
Yeah, we're eating dinner.
Well, you're eating dinner. I don't see any food in front of me.
Peas and chicken because it is Project
So
Speedo.
it's chickpeas, basically.
Yeah.
Why did you deface Walt? Why are you putting unmentionables on him?
Deface him.
Because when Walt supports your project, you know it's real.
I thought you were going to say something totally different. Alrighty then.
Okay. I can see this is going to go nowhere real fast.
Okay. So we're going to focus in first on questions from television in the 50s. Now, we each came up with a list. Ben and Doug do not know the questions that I came up with, and vice versa. They don't know what each other's questions are at all. So we're going to give it a shot and see how it goes. And Derek and Gray are going to be asking us the questions one at a time. They'll tell us who wrote the question, and then we'll respond.
Remember, it's only one category at a time. So we're doing the 50s right now.
Hi, everyone that came over from Meg's show, thank you so much. Good.
Yes, everyone, thank you for coming over. And
yeah, there's just so many to say hi. I'm saying to you all right now, hi, 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 hi.
Oh, Ronnie.
Life is
I'm not
good
trying
today.
to steal anybody from you. Alma has a hall pass. Blame it on her.
Okay. What's the first question, guys?
All right, so we're going to go into the 50s. A very exciting decade.
Okay, we got to interrupt because Mike's being generous again.
Got to start. I love PTV. Mike Wheeler with a $2.99 super chat. Thank you so much. We're going to have fun with that as well. Thank you so much, Mike.
Yeah.
$2.99, very generous. Thank you. So, yeah, that was very kind.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, they're whispering behind and doing some evil.
They're behind a muted microphone.
Yeah, they're plotting. What are you doing? You're plotting.
So I will start, and this is Arnie's question for the 50s. What show from the 1950s you wish would have never broadcast in color? Wait, sorry. I can't read this because it's glare. You wish would have been broadcast in color.
Wow.
Like I said, this is going to go nowhere fast.
Oh, stop. You know, my caffeine hasn't kicked in yet. So,
Okay, Ben, why don't you answer the question first? So my question was, what show in the 50s do you wish had been broadcast in color?
One in particular, and I would say the premiere of Disneyland in 1955. That was broadcasted. It was the largest live broadcast of its time. They had like 22, 27 live cameras all over the park showing different things that were going on. And I would love to have seen that in color.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Definitely. Disneyland's a good
I never thought of that.
question. The Disneyland show, definitely.
I never thought of that because I don't know what. I wasn't around in the 50s.
they could always convert it to color at some point. They do it to all the other movies, so why not this?
Yeah.
Well, that show isn't owned by Ted Turner, so.
What else was
It does-
happening?
what show?
Well, that's amazing. Yeah, I would love to have the stuff in the 50s.
I'll be honest with when I was writing that question, my answer was Disneyland. I know Walt produced a lot of the shows in color, but it was never broadcast in color, and it really would have been nicer to do that. I know a lot of the movies that they released, like Davy Crockett, which happens to be on Disney Plus right now.
Which we started.
We started watching it.
Ooh,
Never seen Davy Crockett. We watched the first
So
passes.
we're watching the first Davy Crockett, but I wish they would have broadcast that in color.
When Bonanza was in the 50s?
We have over 40 people watching.
Bonanza started in the 50s, yeah.
Was it ever in color?
Which one?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Bonanza went on for about 20 seasons, and it went from the 50s to the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay, so it went into color. Okay.
Okay.
Not that I watched Bonanza, but I knew about it where they filmed it in the Sierra foothills. I mean, in the mountains where I used to live.
Yeah. What's the next question, guys?
Oh, the first Olympics, the 1960 Squaw Valley Olympics. I wish Walt Disney had it in color.
Okay.
I just thought of that one.
Okay, that's close enough. I'll buy that.
What's the next question, Derek?
All right. From the Golden Goldies, the 50s. Doug question. What was your favorite I Love Lucy episode? And did you always have a color TV as the main TV?
Oh.
It's a two-part question because I couldn't think of anything else.
That's fine.
Well, that's a loaded question right there.
Ben, why don't you go ahead and answer the I Love Lucy episode?
My favorite I Love Lucy episode, it's been years since I've watched it, but there's this one episode late in the series where they've already moved to Connecticut, and Lucy has a lot of eggs on her, and she's trying to move them from one place to another without Ricky finding out. And they actually practice a dance, and he pulls her into him and smashes all the eggs on her. And from what I've read, that had the longest studio audience laugh in the history of that show, because just the impact is just so anticipated, and when it actually happens, it was just really funny.
Okay, Lothar took the one that I was thinking of. There's this one episode when they're visiting in Italy, and Lucy goes stomping on grapes, and she ends up with a fight with an Italian woman who's also stomping on the grapes. That's the episode I was thinking of. I would have loved to have seen how bad the grape stains got as the fight progressed.
That's fair.
I think we just watched the ending of Will and Grace, the new part of it, and they took I Love Lucy, and they took four of the biggest segments of the most popular I Love Lucy's of all time. And I just think the one that is done, and it's just really hard to do as an actor, and the way they do it, and even when people try to do it to this day, is the Vitamix and Vegemix. Doing that and how they do it it's actually almost impossible. You have to be a superior actor to say that, act like that, and to act drunk. And it's just, It's a really good
Do
episode.
you pop out at parties? Are you unpopular?
I mean,
Oh my god.
that is a skill base that a lot of actors do not have to this day. She was perfection when she was trying to do it. If you really watch it, because I actually watched what reminded me asking that question is I watched the history of some things that I Love Lucy, and then that one they really spent a lot of time on that episode and how it's down on television history because it just hits all the right marks.
It does.
And it's considered television's superior television.
And to answer the question about color TV, we did not get a color TV until I believe it was
The 80s?
1969. That was when we got our first console TV, sat in the corner of the living room. It was a giant piece of furniture, built-in speakers were, this huge and everything. It was wood, the TV was a wood console. Had a little drawer that you pulled out with the knobs on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that television did not have a remote control.
No, we were the remote control.
We were the remote control.
When the channel needed to be changed, Dad would say, hey, you, go change the channel. So that's the way it worked in the 60s.
We had a Zenith. It was big. And it had long, pointy legs that kind of went out, spindly on the edge. The thing was huge, weighs enough as a car. And it was a color. So pretty much all I know is I've had color TV. Now in our bedrooms, we've had black and white for a very short period of time. And then all of us, pretty much, we all had TVs in our room.
Yeah, not even wired in remote. No, there was
No.
not. Nope. Nothing. Okay, what's the next question?
Okay, so this is question. We're still on the 50s.
Yes,
then we
this
have
would be
to do
Ben's
Ben's
question.
One last question.
So, Ben, in your opinion, besides I Love Lucy, is there a TV show from the 1950s that has made as big an impact as that show?
Another show from the 50s that made a huge impact?
Basically, yes.
Well, I Love Lucy, it made an impact on comedy itself simply because of how it was produced. Ricky Ricardo, played by Desi Arnaz. Desi was the producer of the show. He set up the 3-camera system so that all TV was filmed before a live studio audience the way Desi created it. So that's just a huge impact there. As far as comedy itself, I don't know if there's any other comedy that would fit that category.
I just think of the news.
What aspect of the news?
I don't know. I just think of the news. He told me every answer that I could use at the news.
Oh, okay. I thought of two things, and one would be the Today Show on NBC, broadcasting nationwide news early first thing in the morning, as well as their late night show, The Tonight Show, starting with Steve Allen in the 50s, which started the format of what late night television would be all about.
That's good. That's good. Gunsmoke. Actually, Orlando Guy Richard put in a good one. Gunsmoke set the standard for westerns.
What about
Very
game
well done.
shows? Did game shows created in the 50s?
Game shows were created in the 50s. However, the game show scandal happened as well.
They were really manipulated in the 50s, and it wasn't until you got into the 60s that they became more of the respectable kind of show that people would watch, knowing that people weren't being given answers to questions or being preferred contestants.
Yeah.
There was a whole show, a whole movie directed by Robert Redford called Quiz Show that brought that whole era into light.
Yeah, it's great movie. Great movie. So, what's the next question? Question 4.
So we're going to the 60s now.
Mhm. Yes.
Did you guys ever watch Burns and Allen?
Oh, yeah.
No,
Say goodnight, Gracie. Good night, Gracie.
Gracie.
yeah, but never watched it. Even in the reruns that they used to have on the TV things on.
The golden age of television.
Yeah.
What's the next question for the first 60s question?
So, Doug, his
What
question.
about Arnie?
I'm mixing them up.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
you mix them up.
Please do.
What did you watch the most of Dick Van Dyke or Carol Burnett?
Oh, truthfully, Dick Van Dyke. And the reason why is simply because of syndication. That show started in the 60s and is still running today. You can even stream that on Hulu. And there are times that I'm out on a cardio where I will actually listen to an episode of Dick Van Dyke. So, yeah, I'd say Dick Van Dyke, even though I do love Carol Burnett.
And he just had his, 93rd birthday recently?
Yeah,
Something
Wow.
like that. He's pretty up there.
But
Ben,
he
what about
can
you?
I can't distinguish between either ones. Carol Burnett was such a great variety show, and it was actually the last of the big variety shows from the 50s and 60s, ran into the late 70s, and only went off the air because they pulled themselves off the air. CBS wanted to continue them going on. But it did start in 1967. It was always broadcasted in color from Television City in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But really, really big budget show. They had a live orchestra, dancers. I mean, it's just a great, great variety show. But
They wanted to.
when you compare it to the Dick Van Dyke Show, the Dick Van Dyke Show I've seen probably more often just because of the availability of the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah.
Carol Burnett has been a hit and miss, and when they shortened the 1 hour variety show into a half-hour show for syndication, it kind of lost in the translation. Even though the gags were really good, I would say Dick Van Dyke.
What about you, Doug?
Beverly Hills Billy.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
I didn't watch any 60s of the Beverly Hills Billy.
okay.
I didn't watch. I wasn't like you guys. I'm not as crusty as you are. I'm only
Crusty.
10 years later.
Yeah.
Bob Mackey in the costumes. But I just had to ask. It was more for you guys to go on your Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore diatribe. You guys don't know how many times I can't say I've suffered in silence because I do like them. But I don't appreciate it like you guys. I get it. I mean, they're incredible, incredible shows. But I don't. It was the time you had to be the right person.
Okay, that was question 4. Question 5.
There.
I'm sorry, I was looking at the chat. One of the things they were talking about in the 50s, Twilight Zone, which had a very long running show. Yeah.
That scared me. I couldn't watch it.
Yes. All right, we're going to go travel to Ben in the 60s. So which one do you like better, I Dream of Jeannie or Bewitched?
I like
Oh, Bewitched by far.
I was always a Bewitched fan more than I dreamed.
So they hit on each other because of the mother-in-law and just all the nastiness.
The dynamics were just fantastic.
Yeah.
between Durwood and his mother-in-law.
What nastiness. Don't say that when I'm drinking.
Again, what about you?
I definitely preferred Bewitched over I Dream of Jeannie. I felt it was just a better written show, and there was a lot of really good push and pull between Sam's husband and her mother. And Dora was a great mother-in-law.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She was terrible.
And the nasty neighbors.
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Kravitz.
Yes.
Gladys Kravitz. No, Mr. Kravitz was nice.
Yeah.
Oh
Abner.
my god, you did it on purpose.
Okay, that was question 5.
Derek, you need to have another drink.
Next question.
He
Question.
hasn't had a drink. So this is from Arnie. Magic was a big influence on some shows in the 60s like Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie. Of the things they could do, what power would you want and why?
Cleaning power. I wanted just constantly everything to be sparkly clean.
Okay. Me, I would want to have the ability to travel anywhere by a snap of a finger and say, okay, I'd like to be in Paris right now, or I'd like to go to Hawaii right now.
No, clean.
Ben, what
I
about you?
like Arnie's actually, because that would save so much money on travel and time and everything.
I agree. I totally agree. And then I could say, you know what? Hey, there's Richard. Richard, let's have dinner tonight. I'll be there in a second.
You could even go into the parks while they're closed and nobody would know because that's what you think about going to. So there you are.
Very true. Ben, what about you?
I would probably want the ability to manipulate people into different animals.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go totally some other direction there, manipulating some.
Yeah.
Or you want to transform them into animals. That's interesting. You want to you want to make people into animals.
Oh
That's-
yeah, yeah.
That's interesting.
There are some people in my past employers I would like to turn into a cockroach and stamp on them.
Oh my gosh, you're so brutal.
Some of these people really, really horrible to me.
That's like Pinocchio syndrome, turning like when all the boys turned into donkeys. He wants to turn people into animals. So
So that was what, question 6? Question 7 is next.
Yeah,
So just kind of the shows they were talking about on here. We have Andy Griffith, Leave It to Beaver. Beaver? Beaver? The Munsters, which I love. I love that song. I do like the Pee Wee Herman.
the
dance to it.
monster. Oh yeah,
Dennis the Menace and the Addams
Your
Family.
pearls are looking very nice tonight, Mrs. Cleaver.
What was that? Something in Addams Family?
Dennis the Menace.
I liked the movie Dennis the Menace, and I liked the movie Addams Family, but I never watched the old ones.
All right, so now we're going to go to the 70s.
Excellent.
The brilliant 70s filled with giant cars and gas problems. So
Winnebagos.
we're going to travel with Arnie down in a Impala. And it's what is your favorite Saturday morning cartoon from the 1970s? And this was a great era of cartoons.
So it was the 80s.
And the 90s, but the 80s was more.
But we grew up watching
all three.
Saturday morning cartoons. Yeah, you watched Saturday morning cartoons as a kid.
Tons of 70s.
What was your favorite?
I always loved, and I probably watched the most of, was between two, was Jetsons and Flintstones.
Okay. Ben, what about you?
There was a show based on some DC comics called Super Friends, which I love.
Yeah, I remember that.
I used to love that show.
Oh, look at that. We're getting a lot of responses here in the chat. That's wonderful. Thank you. Keep them coming. For me, it was Bugs Bunny. The Bugs Bunny show.
Woody Woodpecker.
Absolutely love Bugs Bunny. In fact, my love of classical music came from the Bugs Bunny cartoons. Carl Stalling and the other musicians of Warner Brothers. Man, nothing like it at all.
Huckleberry Hound.
Huckleberry Hound was from the 60s.
Someone put Huckleberry Hound.
Also on remember Yogi's Ark?
That's true. Yogi's Ark.
Yeah, that was on in the 70s. Hanna-Barbera cartoons were huge in the 70s.
And there was this one show on ABC called the Saturday Superstar Movie. It ran for like 1 or 2 seasons, and all these cartoon companies got together and made like 1-hour specials that were just kind of like one-offs as opposed to an actual series. Oh, Josie and the Pussycats is another good one. Oh my God,
that was another good one.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Goober and the Ghost Chasers?
Yes.
I love that. And then the Wacky Racers.
The Wacky Racers.
Detroit Disney Duo said they're doing remakes on Warner Brothers, and we saw that. We saw the Wacky Racers, and we flipped it over, and I was all excited, and I went, "That's not the one I wanted."
Yeah, I remember agreeing also with Bugs Bunny as well. The company I work at owns Warner Brothers. That must be AT&T.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the next question?
So Ben, what 3 shows from the 1970s would look very different if they were filmed in 2020? Oh my gosh. I can think of
a few shows that would work that way.
Oh, you come up with some. Doug comes up with some. I'll come up with some.
Okay, almost anything by Norman Lear. All in the Family, Maude, Stan. What was his name? What was his name? Sanford and Son. Sanford and Son. That's it. Yeah, so that's 3 shows from me. They all look very different than like back then. You?
I think I would love to see a modern day MASH. But with military and just more up to date, more high tech, but still edgy and funny. I think that would be really cool. MASH. I think they could do it.
That's interesting.
Okay, it's 2 other shows, Doug.
Oh, I have to pick more?
Yeah, well, 3 shows
show.
that would look very different if they were shot today.
Oh, okay. So there would be MASH. What else was in the 70s?
Wanda said Partridge Family.
Yeah, the Brady Bunch.
The Brady Bunch, that would be one.
Laughing, definitely. Yeah, Charlie's Angels. Yeah, definitely.
They tried that and it bombed. It was not good.
Okay, I know I got one. The Love Boat.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
But on every, you get like on a Disney cruise and they move it to a Carnival cruise. And they could do like a spoof of the Poseidon Adventure.
What the heck?
And they could do all kinds of stuff. And then they can have an escapade of like Survivor on one of their private islands.
Are you trying to make people go cruising or stop cruising by fear?
No, I think they can. They can, they get on a princess ship or a Disney ship and you go to their private island and then you play some games.
But you said the Poseidon Adventure. That thing.
I just think everything should be the pirate.
People are coming with some great answers.
You guys are
here.
really
Very
out of
good
control.
here. Ben, what
Island.
What about you, Ben?
They made a movie, Fantasy Island.
A lot of people have said some of the shows that I was going to say. Charlie's Angels, in particular, would look very different today than it did way back in the 70s. Fantasy Island would also be very, very. It would be a lot edgier than it was.
But 2 of those, Ben, they've already done. They did Charlie's Angels, and that flopped. And then Fantasy Island, they made into a movie.
Charlie's Angels was made into a movie. Did they bring it back as a television show?
No.
Yep. Yeah,
Did
they
they
did.
really?
It was on TV for a little bit, and then it flopped.
Okay. Dallas was already brought back, and that was a 70s show as well. But 1970s comedy that I think would probably look different would probably be the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Yeah.
It would not be nearly as groundbreaking for a woman to be stepping out on her own. CBS went as far as to make Mary's character single as opposed to a divorcee, which is how they had originally written or conceived the show. But the network thought that Mary Tyler Moore would be perceived as having divorced Dick Van Dyke. And they didn't think they would believe that.
Yeah.
So the network people used to think America was stupid.
Yeah, the next question.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen,
This was really good, Richard.
Yeah.
Those are really good, Richard.
I think yours is Arnie's, I think.
No, it's Doug.
Is it?
All right. Last one in the 70s. Mary Tyler Moore Show. What's your favorite episode?
I have my favorite, but I've also got another one as a backup just in case it's spoken. So, Doug, why don't
You just pick. Can you only pick one? There were so many of them that were
Yeah.
The Mary Tyler Moore,
good.
probably because I haven't watched them all. I've had to sit through, not really again, suffering in silence, but I've had to watch it, and probably the dozen I've seen are the ones. I think the one where she has a cold. Pretty good. I think it's
that one is called Put on a Happy Face. Mary has a bad week. Everything goes wrong in her life.
There's no winning in that.
From the hair bump she has at the office to spraining her ankle on polished floors in the hall to catching a cold because she was soaking her ankle. And
I just thought that was good television. But I would have to say those are the ones. I mean, I haven't, again, watched it ad nauseum like they did. But I think that's what I have to say. I've really liked it.
To be fair, though, Doug, you could have just walked up and left the room if you didn't really want to watch it, so you didn't have to suffer through it or anything.
No.
yeah, Mary Tyler Moore, that was interesting. They put down women in the newscast room. They did. It was rather misogynistic, which is why the show would definitely be different today.
Yeah.
Ben, what's your favorite episode?
I think I know which one you're going to say, so I'll go with one where we're actually introduced to Sue Ann Niven. Phyllis Lindstrom, Mary's neighbor and landlord, is married to a dermatologist who has an affair with Betty White's character, Sue Ann Nivens. And there's this one scene where Phyllis is trying to make a homemade apple pie. She gives it to Rhoda and Mary to try, and they're both trying to show cover their disdain for the pie. And then Phyllis tries it just because she's doing something. And she stops talking because of the horrible taste in her mouth. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I realized sight gag.
No, Ben, you would think Chuckles Bites the Dust.
Yeah.
That's not the episode I'm going to choose.
Oh,
One of my favorites is WJM Tries Harder.
that's a great episode too.
Why don't you describe it, Ben? Because you're better at describing it than I am.
There is an episode where Mary is dating this really big guy on a rival news station. They're the #1 channel in Minneapolis, and Mary works for WJM, whose lead correspondent is Ted Baxter, who's
Okay, we're interrupting downscale. Beep, beep, beep. Thank you.
Thank you for the $5 super chat.
I'm obligated to donate when Betty White is mentioned.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, because Betty
$5 super chat.
But I would say that Mary was embarrassed of working where she was because she went into the guy she was dating, who was the lead anchor on their rival #1 show in Minneapolis. And she walked into their newsroom, and they've got like dozens of people working in there. They've got monitors all over the place. And she said, well, where's the one for WJM? And the guy said, oh, that's a good one.
I think the best.
You know how it is.
I think it's even better when he comes and visits WJM and Murray is there eating a popsicle.
All right. Enough about the Mary Tyler Moore Show. We can go on. We can go on one episode just talking about that show. Let's move on to the next question.
Oh, so another things that they were talking about for the 70s.
Bring up Richard's link, because that has to do with the scene that I'm talking about, because that is hilarious.
The Lars Affair. That's the name of the episode.
Bored.
Let's move on to the 80s.
All right. Well, some of the things they were talking about, some other shows, Mork and Minnie, which had Robin Williams in it.
Minnie.
Oh,
Mindy, sorry.
Life
WKRP.
Laverne and Shirley. I saw Happy Days, $6 Million Man. All great options in the 70s.
Yeah,
definitely. All right, Greg, are you ready to do the 80s, the decade you were born?
Yeah. So I will do Ben's question. What is the most overrated show from the 1980s?
Can I start with this one, please?
Yes.
The Cosby Show.
Okay, are you basing that off of what happened later in the future, or just
Absolutely not.
Okay.
The Bill Cosby Show was the #1 show for about 5 or 6 seasons, and I don't get it. I was actually in choir rehearsal at the same time that it would run on Thursday evenings, and I just never understood why the Cosby Show was as popular as it was.
Wasn't it like a tight-knit family type of a show where families would get together and watch it?
Yeah, but they relied a lot on musical acts and all that. I mean, it might as well have been Happy Days.
It jumped the shark.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was a funny show in its own right, but I don't see why it was as popular as it was.
An overrated TV show.
Yeah.
In the 1980s.
Yeah, I gotta think of.
Richard actually had my idea, and that was Charles in Charge. Really? Scott Baio as a babysitter? Why was that show popular?
Never watched it. Have you?
What?
Charles in Charge?
Mm-hmm.
Richard, yeah, we're on the same wavelength there. Okay, Lothar says the most ones were Cheers and Miami Vice. Miami Vice, I never watched it. Never watched Miami Vice. Just did not interest me. Doug is trying to come up with something here.
Oh, for me that I just couldn't get into, and this is probably going to be the Wonder Years.
Hawaii 5-0. What?
Yeah, I didn't get into that.
Wonder Years was good.
I would have to say that I'm looking at it because I'm trying. I was one of those that everybody got into, and I'm like, What?
And we got a quote from the show. The Cosby Show might as well have been Happy Days. Okay, next question.
All right, this is going to come over to Doug. Doug's question is, where were you? Because there's a lot of events that happen in life and you always remember. So, where were you when J.R. Ewing was shot?
From Dallas.
Yes.
Who shot JR?
I was on the toilet.
Ben and I were actually in the same place.
Arnie and I were in the same place when we saw that episode. We found out we were at a concert with our parents, but we excused ourselves to the car so we could watch this episode because this was way back when, before VCRs were really a big thing, and we wanted to know the answer. As we waited for this answer for like 8 months.
No. It's not the answer to who shot JR. It's where were you when JR was shot?
Oh, when he was shot. Oh,
sorry, that was just me making a comment. I just messed it up for you.
Sherry was with us. Together. We were in our living room watching it on television when it happened because at that time, no VCRs, no DVRs. Television was appointment watching. You had to watch it or you missed it.
So you were glued with your TV dinners every night.
Oh, yeah. It was. They would highlight their TV guide like they're buying Hallmark ornaments.
TV guides are almost extinct now. You can't even find a TV guide anywhere.
Oh yeah, no. We had our TV guides all right.
You guys would literally plan your life.
That's right. Small Wonder, Awful Manimal. And who could forget Super Train? That was an awful show, too.
I was a wee young chap when it happened, but I was home. I remember my parents were making a big deal out of it. And so I didn't get it until a little bit later. But yeah, I was in my room probably coloring or playing with my or I was
very true. Very true.
I was.
You're putting Doug into a daze of way back when.
Right now, I have been modeling over the 80s. Right now, we were going grocery shopping. Was it yesterday or Saturday? Saturday. And we were listening because we listened to I Heart the 80s. And there was a song that we both came in and said, right now, I would leave in a heartbeat and get rid of all of tech. Because I love our technology so much. I would give it all up. I would go back to the 80s like in a heartbeat right now.
Oh, wow, the Orlando guy. That's not very nice.
Richard's been a little...
He's not wrong.
He's been a little salty today.
He's not wrong.
Richard's in rare form.
It's great.
He's a little
but you
salty.
See, everyone agrees. Okay, next question.
Okay, so Arnie. Where'd it go? No, don't do that. Okay, so what is your favorite episode from Cheers?
Oh, wow.
I'll start with one.
I never really watched.
There was one episode where Shelley Long's character, Diane Chambers, was trying to rehabilitate someone. The character's name is Andy. And there was a scene from Hamlet that they were recreating there in the bar, and he actually was jealous of Diane. He thought that he was in love with her, and he actually started to choke her in real life. And then the theater critic that was there in the audience saw her fighting back from the choking scene, and he says, "I love it, a Desdemona that fights back." It was wonderful. Of course, she gets rescued, and then Norm ends up sitting on Andy. They take him out. For me, that's my favorite episode.
Mine was when Norm was the interior designer. He just all of a sudden goes into this like uppity house in Boston and says, okay, well, I would do this, because I kind of like related to that. That couch, I'd throw that into the bay. It was just really, really good television. Cheers was
actually I like Alma's response. Every episode, they're drinking.
There was one episode where Sam and Diane were really going at it in Sam's office. They were like really fighting. And
You're going to do a
Diane goes to leave, and everyone from the bar has their ears up to the door. So everyone's just sitting there. It was a great scene.
I do love that one.
Oh, Mr. Fuzz. Yeah, they're really good. So what else do we have in the 80s?
Next question.
Is that we did mine, did Ben's?
We did all of them, didn't we?
Yep.
Okay, so that's we've gone through 12 questions. Question 13.
So we're in the 90s.
In the
All
90s.
right. In the 90s, a decade of the boy bands.
We're not about music, Derek.
It's all right. I'm not either. Oh, I'm not into
Yeah,
the boy
you-
bands.
What? There's a lot of good bands out there.
All right. So this is from Arnie. What
Really?
what is the one show from the 1990s that you considered must-see TV?
Me? Must see
I have one.
90s?
Yeah.
I would have to say would probably be Frasier.
Ben,
I would really stop what I was doing for Frasier.
and Ben, what about you?
Oh, they're friends. That's
What was the question?
In the 90s, what show did you consider must-see television? I mean, you didn't have to, you did not want to miss it.
I got the whole plethora.
Seinfeld?
That's a good one. I mean, the thing is, you did not want to miss Seinfeld because the next day at work,
Everyone would talk about it.
everyone was going to talk about it.
Of Seinfeld?
Yeah. The same thing was for Friends. I mean, I started watching Friends in the fall of 1994. I remember I was there in our apartment in Orange County by Disneyland, and we went and I saw the first episode. I said, "This is going to be a hit. I like this. This is."
We
gonna
did
be
that
a
with
hit."
The Simpsons. You had to watch The Simpsons because
Oh,
in the morning you'd wake up.
Alma, Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's that lady with the log? Oh yeah, we called her the log lady.
I would like to answer this question.
No, you guys could have been involved. You guys could have talked about these.
Yeah. By the way, season's greetings, Jim.
You don't Greg a part of
Okay, there.
Okay, what was that? You muted yourself.
Yeah,
He goes, "Oh, what was that, Greg? I muted." So, like, you couldn't hear me answer the question. But I was going to say TGIF, which encompasses 4 shows that I actually loved watching in the 90s, and it was must-see TV. Then they kind of switched it. But they had Family Matters, Step by Step, and Boy Meets World. And I think the other one was Hanging with Mr. Cooper. But somebody said Boy Meets World was an overrated show. I beg to differ because that was a show that you could learn a lot of moral values. Mr. Feeney, in my opinion, is the best teacher, even though he's not a real teacher in real life, but he is the best teacher on TV that they ever came up with because there were so many life lessons that you could learn. And I'm watching it on Disney Plus all over again because I haven't seen every episode, but I wish I had him as a teacher when I was actually going to school because he was that good. My opinion, though.
Yeah.
you have one?
Sherry asked when Twin Peaks was, and Twin Peaks started in the spring of 1990.
Yes,
That's
it did.
why when we went on tour to the Northwest, we had to go to Snoqualmie Falls to appease our piano player.
And we had to go to the Barty restaurant as well to get a piece of cherry pie.
Did you have one, Derek?
Yeah, well, I'm just looking at. I couldn't remember what ones came out in the '90s, but they had Teletubbies that came out in the '90s.
Oh my gosh!
Wasn't one of my favorites, but
Okay, just quick.
They
Only time I watched Teletubbies was when I was in Paris. I actually learned French, little bits of French, watching Teletubbies before I'd go out to the museums.
the show that I really
remember
liked
Tinky Winky.
was,
That's the only name I know.
we got to represent Star Trek. This is probably people's least favorite one, but it's my favorite because I watched it from the beginning, which was Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Okay, yeah,
That was a good one.
but yeah, I worked at television in the '90s at KBHK in San Francisco, and yeah, that was definitely not a liked show.
Okay, so you did. Okay, so I'll ask.
Quantum Leap was a good show too. Next question.
So Ben, what sitcom from the 1990s could stand a reboot in the 2020s?
What show from the 90s could stand a reboot?
Like bring it back with different cast.
Yeah.
We were just
Well,
talking.
I've already done that several times.
Actually, come to think of it, Alma of Life is Good Today, she came up with Quantum Leap. That would be a great show as a reboot today. I really loved that show. I thought it was clever. It was witty. It was well written. I really enjoyed that.
I need to find something.
Richard says suddenly Susan needs a reboot.
Oh my gosh!
I don't think so.
I don't.
Although
even
her
remember that.
character, the part that Brooke Shields plays on the middle, is fantastic.
Yeah.
Their crazy neighbor.
Rita Glossner. Yeah.
He was nasty.
Doug's still
I'm
looking.
trying to think of some of the 90s that could be worth it. I can't think of anything in my off my head.
Well, they. Go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
How about The Simpsons? Oh wait, it's still on.
Yeah, after
The
30
Simpsons. Actually, I would like to see The Simpsons brought back with its original writers so that they could actually go back to what the show was comedy-wise, because it was so brilliantly written. But Mad About You is a really good suggestion.
I was going to say
Yeah.
Mad About You.
That's a good suggestion, Thena.
They're supposed to do a reboot of that. They're actually supposed to bring back Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt. They were supposed to do a rebooting like they've been doing with all the other old comedies.
Can we all agree? Nobody loved Raymond.
What about Xena Warrior Princess?
Xena.
Xena Warrior
I'm
Princess.
just figuring. Then there's Quantum Leap.
Okay.
I don't think that needs to be rebooted.
What's the next?
No, I didn't answer.
Oh,
I
well,
think-
answer.
God, poor Ben.
I would like to see Frasier come back for a short stint for about 13 episodes.
I would watch that. I actually like Frasier more than I did Seinfeld.
It was a really, really well-written show.
Oh, I really missed The Big Bang.
I just don't think it'd be the same without certain characters in it because they can't be in it anymore. But
True.
Yeah,
I think Doug's taking a pass on this one.
I just said some. I mean, you could do a few.
well, they did. They had Melrose Place already. They did 90210. They did MacGyver. They brought all those.
Yeah, Murphy Brown came back for 13 episodes. Will and Grace came back for a few episodes.
Third Rock from the
Few
Sun.
seasons.
They could do Third Rock.
Third Rock from the Sun would be a fun show to see back
Yeah,
again.
it would.
They could
It
do
would.
it and spin it so it's kind of a little bit different, but that weird spacey thing. I think they can do Third Rock from the Sun. 'Cause
Okay.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
All right, this comes from Doug. Last question of the 90s. Have you been part of a live studio audience?
Yes.
I knew these both did it in the 90s. So
Yes.
that's why I put it in.
In the 90s,
I still have it to this day. This is for these goobers.
we saw the show Hollywood Squares. Then we also
I love that.
I saw them together. But I saw the show Murphy Brown being recorded before a live studio audience. That was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah, I was in the studio audience of The Nanny for an episode.
Oh wow, that was a good one too.
Oh, I hate
It
Fred.
was really annoying.
Mr. Sheffield.
It was really annoying.
She just like a smoker.
Oh, she just is like fingernails on a chalkboard.
I hope they bring that show back for a revival. That would be good.
Nanny?
Yes, I liked it a lot.
She
all right.
She was nasty.
Arnie and I also saw like 3 episodes of Family Feud recorded as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that was amusing.
Well,
That was with Ray Combs.
Yeah.
you guys lived in Southern California, so it was easy for you.
It was definitely easier.
And we fantasized of doing it when we were going down there because I wanted to see a taping of Big Bang Theory. but it's just almost impossible. And our friend was going to get us, Steve was going to get us on what? He says, maybe I can get you guys on something, because he works in television on all kinds of different shows. So I forgot which one that was going to be, but that kind of.
I didn't do a live show, but I did try out as an extra in the movie Puppet Master. I don't know which one it was, but they filmed it. They used the Fresno County courthouse.
Puppet Masters, the alien one.
Yeah, with
Okay.
Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, I was gonna say the other one's a horror franchise.
Yeah, and I didn't look. Apparently, I didn't look Midwestern enough.
You fit a small niche.
So the
That's a good niche.
the show on screen there, Cop Rock. If you've never seen Cop Rock, do yourself a favor, try and find an episode somewhere to see how horrible it really was.
And then wash your eyes out with bleach.
Pop Rock.
Cop Rock.
Oh,
It-
Cop Rock.
Yeah.
Cop,
Yeah,
as in, like,
it's,
it's bad. So yeah, we were extras in a movie that was filmed in San Francisco, and that was really, really awesome. With Danny Boyle was the director of Steve Jobs' movie, based
was
on
fun.
Walter Isaacson's book.
Yeah. And I was also an extra in the movie Angels in the Outfield that Disney did.
Just did.
So as you can see, we have like no life. We just live on TV.
A coworker of mine is watching the show, and she just texted me to let me know that she toured the set of The Big Bang Theory just before the show ended.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
I
now
would love to have done that.
now we could do a tour of Warner Brothers. Well, we could tour as in when that's going to ever happen. They did take all the sets and have it on a tour of Warner Brothers.
Okay.
Okay, next question.
Are we into the 2000s now?
We are in
2000s, the
2000s,
decade with the fear of the 2K.
which never happened.
Y2K.
Y2K, that's right. Y2K.
Ben, what drama from the 2000s would you say was the best?
What drama of the 2000s?
Best.
I would probably say The West Wing.
Mm.
It was
I was going to say the same thing.
such a good show.
Yeah, The West Wing, definitely.
The 2000s. What did I watch in the 2000s?
Man, I hate you
I have
all.
to keep looking them up too.
I don't remember.
You guys don't
That was
understand.
my vote as well. The West Wing. Man,
I
it
never watched
was
The
a
West
great
Wing.
show. Well, there was. West Wing was a great show. Now my sister was 24. 24 was just intense. It was Lost. Okay, Doug, for you,
What did I watch?
Desperate Housewives.
He did watch that. That was a good show.
But was that?
it started in 2004.
Oh my god!
That's in the 2000s.
That is excellent TV.
So
right
yeah,
there.
he would go with that one for
So
sure.
there's your answer, Doug. No.
The best TV ever. Okay. Yeah, I can't think of anything. I think it was.
Also, very good shows: The Sopranos and Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I don't watch The Sopranos either.
What is West Wong?
West Wong.
Yes, I like West Wing.
West
West
Wing.
Wing is
You
a
guys
great
love
show.
Lost. I never watched an episode of Lost.
Lost, I watched till the end. It lost me toward the end though because it just got too confused.
It just was lost.
What about Friends and the OC? Those kind of were the 90s.
The OC is one of my guilty pleasure shows from the 2000s.
Oh, one I loved so much. There's two of them. They were both on. I can't remember what it was Roswell and Prison Break. Oh, that's excellent TV. Oh my god,
Loved Prison Break. That's great.
that was great.
We have the first season of Prison Break. I haven't watched it since I started it, so I guess I'm not really
I've never seen
watch
it.
it.
Never seen it.
Psych came out during that time.
I heard
the show.
And Stacy, yes, that's what happened with me too. When they started the flash forwards, that's when I got lost as well.
Mm.
Ours was a good show. What's next? Next question.
So, two of my shows that I really like, I had to again check in the 2000s, but La Femme Nikita That was an awesome show. And The Pretender. I love The Pretender. That was an
That
amazing.
was a good show. It
Yeah.
was.
All right. Is it me next, Greg, or is it
It's
you?
it's you next. I just asked Ben's question, so you know you got two other choices.
All right. We're going to go to Arnie. What is your guilty pleasure TV shows from 2000s?
Oh,
We already named those.
no. Well, we didn't.
I've already said the OC.
Yeah, Ben said the OC. For me, my guilty pleasure was Desperate Housewives.
Yeah,
Yeah, we both watched that one.
that was guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure, definitely.
I'm Brie Van de Kamp all the way.
He is.
I am,
Argue with that.
and I'm Brie Van
But
de Kamp.
I'll tell you, I was hooked from the first episode
Oh,
when they get the note and everything like that, and they say, "Mary Alice, what have you done?" And the whole show is about Mary Alice and her life.
Well, it's her narrating.
She's dead through the whole series.
She narrates the whole series.
yeah,
She narrates the whole series.
it was superior television
You've seen
on
it,
super
like,
trashy level. It was so good.
Created by Mark Cherry, who actually worked on the show The Golden Girls as a script writer.
Mhm.
And he was broke, living with his mom, and he asked a question about a mother to his mom, who could possibly do this? Who could be so desperate to do that?
So
And it started.
because there's a Texas mom drowned her 3 babies, and she just snapped and killed it. It was all on the news, and he just saw it on the news with his mom, and he was living at home, and he said, "How can a mother, snap like that and be so desperate to kill her children?"
And that was the beginning of
And
his
she-
developing of the TV show.
She actually, her mother answered it dead on, and he spun it and created that television show because of that real life thing that happened of that woman who drowned her 3 babies.
Okay. Is there one more question for the 2000s?
Yeah, I have to do mine.
Okay, let's do Doug's question.
And I agree with Stacey Rogers. True Blood was a very good show. That was a guilty pleasure for me. Favorite reality show.
Sorry, what was that?
Favorite reality show from Doug.
So actually 1999 but 2000 is when we just blew up reality shows. Well, the big 4, they got rid of normal syndicated TV basically, or normal skit TV. Everything was a reality show, from music to Survivor is actually what started it. But so the 2000s was all about reality shows. What was your guys' reality show that you would watch or seemed to watch all the time or got sucked into?
For me, there were only a couple that I watched, but the one that I would say is definitely the one would be The Amazing Race.
Oh, Amazing Race, because we won a cruise. I won't go there. I've said this story so many times, but that's a long
Yeah,
story.
writers stopped writing. Ben, what about you?
I'm not a fan of reality television.
Oh, I hate them, but
I would say the closest I ever got to watching anything in reality was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. There's more. Out of the big because we're on 00, so right, 2000.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Doug, you didn't give me a 2010 question, but
well, I kind of did. It's not really answered correctly.
okay. So out of the big 3, ABC, CBS, NBC, which one have you watched the most shows on? Is that part of the other question?
No, that's actually the 2010s. I didn't do it.
Oh. Okay.
I kind of blew off it because I wanted to know, in your lifetime of all the television shows you can think of, what did you watch most of?
I am reading the damn question.
Richard is very salty tonight. He's in rare form.
But he had it all like going into each other. Okay, so back to favorite reality show. Forget what I just said.
Favorite reality show for me, I got sucked in for the first 5 or 6 years, and then after that I gave up. I think it was about 5 years, was American Idol. I did that for the first chunk.
I watched American Idol for 1 season. That's all I needed to see.
What?
But
I did American Idol for the first 5 years, 6 years.
We used to watch Dancing with the Stars with our neighbors, and then we just gave up.
Dancing with the Stars was really
Dancing
good.
with the Stars.
But that was more of the teen, the teen decade. But I would have to say one of my favorite that we've been watching is Amazing Race.
there is one other show, and that would be Trading Spaces on TLC.
I was a huge fan.
Clean House.
I'm not a fan of
I was a huge fan of. I was a
Maybe-
huge fan of Clean House and Trading Spaces.
Is that a monkey I see?
All this foolishness and mayhem.
Foolishness and mayhem and hot messes.
Yeah.
Is that
Okay.
what you were gonna say for you?
Okay,
I
so
guess
my
we'll-
question is mine, and then we'll just
So
what all the TV you have watched in all your life. Did you watch more CBS, NBC, or ABC?
I would probably say CBS.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to 2010 now. Okay.
I'm just wondering in general in your history of watching TV.
Yes.
What was the most?
CBS.
I think mine was NBC. I think I watched more NBC than I watched any other one.
Mine was ABC. What was yours?
NBC because of football and the Bills used to play on the NBC.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, Extreme Makeover Home Edition. I used to like that show.
That's a very good answer, Caitlin.
What's your question? So Doug's was already done.
We're gonna go to Ben.
Okay.
Last
So,
for 2010s.
so what show from the most recent decade is one you binge watch on over and over again?
From this decade?
From this decade, or the kind of the one we just
From the last decade that we just
From
completed.
2010 going forward.
Yeah. I would say The Middle.
The Middle.
I binge on The Middle all the time.
Yeah,
It's a great sitcom.
that would be the same here.
Yeah,
Patricia
we're
Heath and her kids, they've got such a really good chemistry.
Yeah,
And the show is really well written. They had some really offbeat characters. It was a lot of fun.
yeah.
I could, there's two that are tied that I think I watch for every day for perpetuity is Schitt's Creek and The Middle. I'll just always watch them over and over and over and over. And over
If
again.
you're here in the chat and you've never watched Schitt's Creek, do yourself a favor, catch that show. It's just hysterical.
It's great
I'm
Canadian.
still watching it. I haven't even finished it yet. I'm still on season
It's a
two.
great. It's a great show. Yeah, definitely.
I can't
You
imagine.
have one?
We watched Baby Baby.
Yeah, there we go. So next question.
Did you have an answer for it?
I don't know.
Oh,
Did you guys
Tina, it's called Schitt's Creek, SCHITTS.
Like you're up shit creek type of thing?
Except that it's the town, the family's name is Shit.
Yes.
The
It is.
the husband, his name is Roland Shit. And he's
Wanted
married,
by horse
and he's
shit.
married to Jocelyn Shit.
They have a son called Mutt Shit. It's
Seriously.
Canadian. Seriously.
It's a show that was created by Eugene Levy and his son Dan Levy.
Yeah.
And Eugene Levy is really the best known for his role as the father
American
in
Pie.
American Pie.
Yeah.
Although his take on different impressions during his time on SCTV was brilliant.
Yikes.
No, it's really.
Good night, Gracie.
It's something we got sucked into. It's Canadian television.
Named Jack Shit? No. They didn't.
No, but it was
But the grandfather's name was Horace Shit.
yeah.
God.
It was just the way they did it, and Dan Levy and Eugene created it.
Yeah.
Father son.
It's about
It's just we like it.
riches to rags family that ends up in the town of Schitt's Creek,
Yeah.
The wigs.
and they happen to buy the town just based on the name.
The mother thinks she can act and sing, and
Their budget for costumes for Moira or
Catherine O'Hara.
Catherine O'Hara,
yeah.
they blew the budget, and the producers and everybody was like all freaking out because they're like, "Oh my God, we're spending way more than we would ever spend on any of this." It was like for enough for 3 shows.
He's crazy.
Next question.
Next question.
Arnie, last question. If you could only have one streaming service, not Disney Plus, which would it be and why? I have my answer.
Streaming service?
Yes.
I have my answer.
Okay, Ben, what's your answer?
I say Hulu. Hulu's got a lot of really good old television shows along with current shows that are on, and they've got some good original content. They do rely heavily on other networks, so a lot of the content is already produced, and I prefer to watch it after it's already been posted onto Hulu. That way I don't have to sit through commercials.
Yeah, definitely. Hulu is my choice as well, simply because of the variety that's available, not just of new shows, but then you can also have the add-on. Oh, it's definitely dying. They also have the add-on of any real networks that are running as well. You can have any cable channels with their Hulu Plus add-on. So yeah, definitely.
I would have to say, besides Hulu, which is great, and it's just you have all of it, I think Netflix still scores at the top. I mean, from House of Cards, which is a little too much reality right now, to just them creating a lot of wonderful original stuff. I would have to say, yeah, I would have to say Netflix.
Okay. Michelle likes YouTube, and then we've also had people that have voted for HBO Max as well as Netflix. Yeah, definitely. You know,
I would say Netflix.
And there are a few more streaming services to come.
who does
They
Hulu
have-
better than you do?
Netflix has a lot of original content also.
Yeah,
What would you say?
They do.
And
Probably
that's
Netflix.
they don't have
A
Hulu
lot
in
of
Canada.
shows.
They spend billions every year producing content.
Derek
It'd
says
be
Netflix,
interesting
too.
now that since Disney Plus came in, I think the whole thing's going to kind of change to see if Netflix will be able to stay around. But
I think they will.
I've enjoyed watching the Daredevil series. That was a very brutal series, but I thought Daredevil
Yeah, we
was
still
fun.
haven't watched the last season.
And then Stranger Things. I
Mhm.
remember watching it. Greg put it on. I'm like thinking, what's this? And all of a sudden I was like, boom, drawn into
yes,
it.
it's like 80s vomit all over the place. I love it. It's all 80s.
I like Mike Wheeler's response. YouTube for me because this is where all the cool kids are.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Thank you,
That was
Mike.
all the questions on our list.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, a lot of people do like Amazon as well.
What's the
Yeah, I like them. What?
next question? Was that the last one?
Yeah.
That was it.
You,
We can make up questions if you want.
I had what out of the three you watched the most shows on, and Benjamin.
Wow.
Guilty.
We got through all of them. We did it pretty fast on time. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, everybody, that's why we love our TV.
Yeah.
Really.
And we really could
Really?
focus in on one television. You know what? That makes me think of something. People
Oh,
here in the
gosh.
chat, you are Village. You can actually help us direct where you'd like to see one of our shows sometime on PTV Live. We actually are always looking for ideas of what we'd like to see as far as the show goes. If you could come up with maybe one or two television shows, drop us a line on our social media.
That's not a show.
We are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Go ahead and direct message us on any of those services or send us an email to peppertreevilla@gmail.com. And you can say, hey, I would love for you to do an in-depth discussion about this television show. And we will definitely take that into consideration.
Well, Third did a great question. We'll ask that question for all of you. If we could move to a different platform than YouTube, would you do it? If they had it monetized and the masses would see it right now, there's pretty much only one on the group. There's only one on the block. It's who can actually do something that's worth our time is YouTube. But if there was another one that came out, I would jump ship because it's run by Google.
Yeah, that's it.
Would you guys get off it, or would you guys have both?
I think it would stay on YouTube.
It depends. It's hard to say.
And what you said, Arnie, that's kind of loaded. So you said for them to email you a show that they want, like a series show that they want you guys to review and talk about.
Yes.
So you're going to watch
Like
the
Lost.
series first and then go over it?
Yeah, we would talk about the series, and then we would actually just talk about that one series for the episode. We'd take probably like the top 3 or 4 episodes of what we think are the best episodes of that series.
So a series is like years long, 5, 6, 8 years of a
Exactly.
series.
Oh, so these are older series, not new series that are on now.
Oh, sure. Any show right now. As long as we're very familiar with the show, we'd be more than happy to take it on and discuss it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could not discuss Breaking Bad. I've never seen it.
You'd have to watch the whole series, though.
You know what I've never watched even a clip of or seen anything as Orange is the New Black.
I haven't seen it.
And there's another series out there. I've only seen the first episode. That's Downton Abbey.
We bought it all. We have owned the content. They were doing a streaming sale, so we need to watch all of Downton Abbey.
They have a movie too. If you haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, no, we haven't done that one yet.
Lothar wants us to have a Hawaiian shirt day too. So. Well, everyone, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Don't forget to contact us through our social media at Pepper Tree Villa. I'd really like that. Derek and Gregory, you have a show on Wednesday night?
We do.
Wednesday. It's just going to be us.
Yeah,
we haven't done it in a while.
You're just going to have to put up with us.
Oh my God.
So we're going to do.
It's all about you anyway, according to you.
Usually is.
Uh-huh.
At least he's finally learned that after almost 3 years of YouTube.
No, I'm not actually. I'm just rubbing salt.
It's going to be a Disney show, but we are going to have some fun on there. We're going to try Vegemite and compare it to Marmite. So a lot of our friends that are in the chat here, they've also had some from the Degenerate Cruisers. We do a Marco Polo thing, and we're going to go live on it. But we have some gifts that we've received.
Had Marmite, so
we're going to open the package. So we're going to have some fun and just interacting with the audience. So we'll be answering cruise stuff. We'll be answering Disney stuff, but it'll be fun this Wednesday.
Wonderful.
Good.
Released a video today, a number 11 in our NCL Escape vlogs, where Greg does tap dancing on the. Oh, wait, no, that's not this episode.
We finally watched. Well, he's seen it, but we finally watched it together because I haven't seen it yet. But we watched it today, and it was
rope course, wine and chocolate pairing, so it was fun.
Okay.
Ben, what's going on with Life with Ben this week?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you cooked something.
He does have some content ready, but he has to decide on which one to edit.
Oh, good grief.
And then we are just wrapping up the Daily Dose of Disney. We have 2 weeks left. So every day at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, I am live with Doug. Sometimes we have other people join us, but it's usually just Doug and me that do the show. And then next Monday here on PTV Live, we have a taste episode coming. Ben, why don't you talk about that?
We are going to be presenting the taste of Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its has been one of our ongoing jokes as an unofficial official sponsor of PTV Live. And
just like an unofficial sponsor of the Orlando guy.
How the heck do you know what turds taste like?
But
thank you, Downscale.
Downscale. Oh my goodness,
Ben, are you sure you're up to?
Are you sure to? What's up next week now? $2 super chat from Downscale. Thank you so much.
We are going to do
the cheeses thing. I don't know about that. It's way too much salt for me.
But we're going to be doing a Taste of Cheez-Its episode, and it's going to be family driven, where Sherry and I will be on our end. Doug and Arnie will be in their end, but Sherry's 3 kids are going to be helping us participate as well. So it's going to be a pretty fun show to watch. So hopefully all of you who are here come by and watch us next week, and be sure to invite a lot of friends, because it should be a really, really entertaining episode.
Yeah,
you've
never really had an opportunity to talk with our niece and nephews. This is going to be lots of fun. And Rob Fuzz wants to get in on the act as well.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Unfortunately, it is all about Derek. You should
hashtag it's all about Derek.
Yeah,
Everything for food. Wanda for the $10 super chat. Thank you so much.
When we're all together, it is all about Derek. Oh, my gosh.
No, it's really not.
Always about Derek.
Oh,
it was about Derek at Coles. It was all about Derek at the restaurant.
And then Sherry says, I apologize in advance for my kids. So.
Yeah,
I do
I'm
want
going to ensue, but that's
Yes,
very
it
nice,
will.
Wanda. That's very sweet.
Wackiness and zaniness will be here next Monday night as we do the Taste of Cheez-Its on PTV Live. And then the week after that, we will be closing out the Daily Dose of Disney officially on June 29th. So that's going to be a fun episode. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us.
Arnie, Greg wanted to say
so
something.
I did want to say that normally we would have had the show with Jim last Saturday, but it got canceled. This Saturday, it's going to be canceled also, so we won't be doing it until next Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So Saturday, the 27th.
yeah, the last Saturday of the month, I guess. Yep.
Okay. That's wonderful.
That's about Cheez-Its too?
To
No.
our
It's
to
about
I don't know what's going on.
to our moderators, thank you so much for your
I'm
help
so
tonight.
confused.
This is very helpful. To all of those that gave us super chats
See,
tonight.
Jim doesn't know either, so I'm
Wait,
so
what?
confused.
Those of us that gave us super chat tonight. Mike Wheeler, Downscale, Cruising for
If I
Food.
text
Thank
you.
you so
You
much.
guys are so cool.
Your generosity is so appreciated. It goes directly into our channel to help make our videos better. We will definitely be buying equipment, and we'll tell you everything we buy so you know exactly where that money is going all the time. I guess that is it for tonight. Thank you to our circle of support. More sunshine, please. And Rob Fuzz have been here tonight. So as the Orlando guy, Richard, thank you for your help. D&G Explorers, we can't do this without you as well. Thank you so much for your help tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
guys.
And everybody go out and watch a lot of TV.
Yeah, go out and watch something and send us your ideas.
There's
Everyone,
nothing on right now.
thank you very much
Thank you,
for
guys.
joining us tonight for PTV Live's 21 Questions. I'm Arnie.
I'm Doug.
I'm Ben.
I'm Gregor.
I'm Derek.
Little Explorers. Yeah.
Everyone, have a magical evening and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.